Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome once again to the Stinkbug Works. Actually, the southern wing of the Stinkbug Works. This morning, I have a conundrum, and I'm going to have to rethink everything again. I may have to go back to the beginning. As you can see, I have the boat here with things taped into their relative positions. And if you look inside, I have a motor mount, and you can see I have some batteries in here. And I don't have a motor at the moment. In fact, I'm going to call Steve and order one this morning. But it's essentially on the center of gravity. So what I'm going to have here is close. And I haven't even considered these heavy wings and, the heavy exhaust pipe if I'm going to do that. And then the heavy little plate in here so you can have this open. But, it balances about where it should. Here's the problem. Well, it's not really a problem, but it may force me to change my thinking a little bit. This is the second one of these I've built. The first one had that 1107 motor up here, and it had a couple of 850 packs up in here, and then it had foam up in the sponsons. This one I wanted to do like the American Spirit and put the batteries up in the sponsons to get it to balance. And so here's what I've got. I've got, one of these little airsoft long skinny ones, which just happens to fit real good. And I got one on that side that just happens to fit real good. But these weren't heavy enough to make it to balance. And if I'm going to add weight to a boat, I'm going to add weight that has a purpose. So there's another battery. And I have to shake it to kind of get it past the step there in the sponsons. There it is. 4 batteries. Instead of running this on 2S 2P, in order to get this to balance, I have to run this on 2S 4P. And that's before I add weight back here, add weight back here. So it's got me to thinking. And I thought to myself, Dr. Jet, do you want to do this all over again? All the detail and yada yada. And Dr. Jet said, I've done enough of that. Maybe it's time to build a goer. Now, the carbon fiber hulls are actually a little heavier than the glass hulls, and here's why. When they build these, they first put down the gel coat, and then they put down a real light layer of glass cloth, and then the carbon. And the carbon, it likes to soak up epoxy. Now, they dry it out pretty darn well. There's not much excess epoxy in here, but even so, it's heavier. And like I've always said about these boats, there's more boat back this way than there is this way. So getting them to balance is always a challenge. And this is 3,600 milliamps. That's not that huge, but for a boat this size, it's pretty substantial. But I think that will be the plan. The next thing is cooling the motor. Now, an air-cooled motor will work if you don't push it too hard. And if you got good volume in there. But water cooling is optimum. So here's a couple of issues with the 1105. It's got a chamfer at the drive end, which in a sense shortens the length of the can a little bit. It has screws holding the end bell on the non-drive end, so that shortens the length of the can. So I used that motor in the wooden shrimp boat, and I wound up having to use a copper coil. Now I may use this aluminum coil. This is a TFL, or no, this is a Ten-Shock jacket, but you notice it's thinner, but it is 29 millimeters. Now here's something interesting in these TFL jackets and some of the new jackets I've seen. If you look inside here, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a ring between these inlets and outlets. So that really makes it difficult for the water to flow from here to here. And there's a little depression in here, so it kind of forces all the water on this side to pass through opposite of these to come out the other side. So this, with just the addition of a little bump in here, really helps the circulation in there. Then I have this that actually fits the 1005, but it's just a little bit on the long side. And this is a flexible rubber jacket, a silicone jacket, and it's got directive grooves, so you can see where it comes from this inlet. It's got a pair of grooves that rotate around the motor and then exit out here. So I thought that was an interesting design. So back to this. I think the idea of another scale boat is out the door. Gone. I might paint it red and put Budweiser stickers on it, but it's not getting any fins. It's not getting anything back there. If anything, it's going to get a good sanding. So that'll be the plan. I'm going to set this up to be a little screamer. I'm going to use the 1005 that's in the wooden shrimp boat with with a 4-piece setup. It doesn't matter if these things are, what are these? They're 15 to 25C. 3,600 milliamps at 15C is more than the little 1005 motor is rated at. It's rated at 400 watts burst, 200 watts continuous. And the wattage rating is really its ability to dissipate heat. And with good cooling, you can push a little more heat if you can dissipate it. So you can push the wattage up a little bit. Then again, it starts affecting efficiencies. You know, you're squeezing this balloon, you squeeze it here and it comes out over there, and you squeeze it, and there's never any end to it. You just keep getting smaller and smaller displacements. Anyway, I thought I'd give you an update on the thinking. I haven't glued one drop of glue. I haven't drilled one hole. I haven't cut one slice. I haven't done anything but mark on it with a pencil and tape stuff to it. But I will call Steve and order a motor, and I'm thinking I'm going to be running 2S 4P. I tried some 3S packs. I have the same 3S pack. This pack won't fit. Because of the weirdness of this opening, this 3S pack, none of my 3S packs will fit. This is going to be a 2S boat, and it's going to run these batteries. These things are still pretty much readily available, so There you go. It takes 4 batteries to run this thing. Thank God the batteries are cheap. They're like $8 or $9 each. Anyway, boys and girls, until next time, jet out.